Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I'm your watch guy today. I am a massive fan of a good complication in a watch, from chronographs all the way up to minute repeaters. There's so many things that people have put into these tiny little wrist pieces that we wear on a daily basis over the last pretty much 100 years that absolutely astound me. The craftsmanship that they put in, the work rate, the ingenuity that these watchmakers have is just incredible. But there's something about a simple three-handed watch that just tells the time. And that's where it really started, in the trenches or with soldiers, whichever story you want to subscribe to. They were basic time-keeping pieces that kept everyone running at the same time, that brought everyone together in one single moment in time. So today I am reviewing one of the most simple pieces, however it does everything that you'd ever need it to do. This is Redwood's Field Watch V2, and it's a fantastic quartz powered field watch for only $119. What more do you need? So before we turn this camera around and get into this review, Redwood have sent me this watch for review for free. I don't have to send it back. This is what YouTube would call a paid promotion. However, this is a fully honest review. You don't have to worry about that. With that out of the way, let me turn this camera around and show you this simply fantastic, simple timepiece. This is Redwood's Field Watch V2. The Glacier Black is the version that I have here. I had to go for the black because I just thought that it looked so stealthy, so absolutely cool. Out of all the other options, this was probably my favourite. If you're not a fan of this PVD look, then they do have stainless steel pieces. They also have a white loomed dial, which I know a lot of people will actually really like. Personally, I went for the simple black dial with a black case. Again, as I say, that stealth look just really did it for me. The average military field watch back in World War II days, which this watch is inspired by, were around 33 to 36 mil. However, this one is more of a modern build, however, still quite suited to an average wrist. It is 40 mil in diameter. It is 8.3 millimeters thick without those NATO straps beneath, 46.3 millimeters lug to lug, and 20 millimeter lugs. We also have drilled lugs on this one to make it easier to change in and out a different band. The way to look at this is a much more modern take on a classic military field watch. It is inspired by an A11 military watch. An A11 military watch had to be built to certain specifications for a soldier's duties. And one of those specifications was a hacking second hand, so it can be set to the same time as the commanding officer. And as you can see here, this Miyota quartz movement has that function. This in particular is the Miyota 2035 movement. Very simple yet effective quartz movement. You're not going to get much song and dance from this one, but it's going to do its job, and it's going to do its job well. Much like a good soldier, I guess. The crystal on this one is a mineral crystal. It is a flat mineral crystal, and it does have a hardened coating to help with scratch resistance. A very simple crown, nice clean edge finish for the grip, and the Redwood logo embossed on the crown there. Nice little touch for such a budget watch. Now let me show you the case back on this one. The case back really does give me a very militaristic feel to it. I'll show you what I mean. A very military looking spec sheet is etched onto the case back here. This is a simple push case back, a clip-in case back. Very simple piece, however, pretty much what it's meant to be. You don't need much water resistance for a field watch, and this one doesn't have much. 50 meter water resistance, splash proof at best. However, a field watch, that's exactly what you usually expect. Now, as well as all of the other information on there, we do have the manufacturer date, which I think is actually quite a nice touch. It has their date 2021, and below that we have Redwood Watch Company, Montreal, Canada. Did I mention these are Canadian? We know that I like a good Canadian watch brand. I mean, I don't think I've ever reviewed one and been unhappy with it, to be honest. I know I have a couple of Canadian subscribers that'll be very happy to hear that. The likes of Zenea and Van Banner Watches have definitely kept me happy over the last 2 years. The finishing on this watch was a nice, pleasant surprise to me. With the budget of it, $119, it's a very affordable watch. I don't want to say cheap because it's well made, and saying cheap would definitely harshen my viewpoint on this. It definitely has a lovely finish for an affordable piece. A brushed finish to this PVD coating, and that is throughout. We have a circular brush on the bezel as you would expect, and then a horizontal brush down the side of the case profile, lineal to finish the upper lugs. Very well finished, and honestly they didn't really have to do that. They could have gone with a cheaper finish, so it's nice to see that they did put in that extra little bit of effort on this one. As we move into the dial itself, again, very simplistic, very easy to read, legible, exactly what it says on the tin. This is a very simple military field watch, and it doesn't need to have all the singing and dancing gadgets that you may find in modern day watches, in G-Shocks, etc, etc. It is a very simplistic field watch, however it's also a very wholesome watch. It takes you back to exactly what a watch was, exactly what a watch is meant to be. A simple, legible, easy to use, easy to carry about time-telling device. And they really hit home with that specification for me. The train track, minute track around the outer edge is printed to the dial, as well as the 12, 3, 6 and 9 Arabic numerals. The rest of the hour indices are completed by buttons. Up at the 12 o'clock we have the Redwood logo again printed to the dial. Below the handset we have water resistant 50 meters, and that is in a nice offset red, which accents the dial very nicely and ties in the red second hand. Speaking of hands, we have a sword style handset on this piece with that lollipop second hand. Now I do like that they've put a little bit of a splash of colour in this one. It does accent the dial very well. The red and black colour options, very popular and pretty aesthetically pleasing to most people, so I can see why they've gone with that one. Now we do have lume on this piece, so let's get these lights out and let's have a look at the lume shot. The lume on this one is definitely much better than you would have probably expected for a £120 watch. A £120 micro brand piece. The spread of the lume around the dial is exactly what you want. Very easy to read, very legible. All the numerals are lumed as well as the batons. The handset, legible again. I would say that I'd have liked a little bit more of an even spread on the minute hand. There's a little bit of patchiness on there. However, for the price, I'm definitely going to let them off on that one, especially with the dial being so clean and well done with that lume. Now, thankfully, this doesn't follow its World War II watch legacy. It's not a radioactive lume. This is super luminova. You'll be glad to know. If you don't know the story of the Radium Girls, then it's definitely one to look into. One of the more dark stories around watchmaking. One thing that I will applaud on this piece is that that second hand does meet the markers more often than it doesn't. It's well aligned to the dial. You don't always get that in a quartz piece. Plenty that I have seen of missed markers or being very badly aligned by the maker. So it's nice to see that the quality control is a good one on this one. As we move on to the band, as you'd expect, very simple NATO piece with some stainless steel keepers here. We have the Redwood logo on the buckle. Again, simple NATO piece, does what it's meant to. It's either going to be one that you keep for that budget feel, that simple, do everything, everyday watch feel, or it's one that you're going to replace as soon as you get the watch. It's one of those. Now I'm going to pop this on wrist so you can see how it looks on my 6.25 inch wrist, and then we can get into the Moan section. It's not the longest Moan section due to this being such an affordable piece. However, there are a couple of things that I would like to mention. Here is our little field watch buddy on wrist. Very easy wear, this one. As I say, simple everyday quartz piece for me. This is definitely one that you can pick up and wear to hell. Absolutely beat the living daylight out of it over the years. Not that you're gonna, bash it around or anything, but I do like to have a nice quartz beater in my collection, and a field watch is definitely something that you can use for that exact example. 36 grams on wrist, 316L stainless steel, 40 millimeters. I mean, there's not more you can really ask for a simple everyday watch, is there? As I say, it's exactly what it says on the tin. No nasty hidden surprises, and does exactly what you need it to. So where do my moans lie with this piece? Well, they are going to be pretty harsh considering this is just $120. So for one, I would have liked to have seen the minute and second hand slightly longer to fit the dial a little bit better. I feel like they would have been better suited to around a 38mm watch, bring these in slightly. I'd have liked to have seen them meeting the minute track at the least. Very pedantic moan, I understand that. However, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm going to have to put in some moans here and there, aren't I? Secondly, the strap could be better. It is a very cheap NATO piece. I mean, I guess it's nice to see that they put as much of the budget as possible into the watch itself. However, the strap does have a lot to do with the wearability of a piece. Just something a little bit more premium would have been nice. With that being said, I definitely think that Redwood have nailed what they were going for here. I mean, even down to the dial, you can see there's a little bit of texture to it. It's just a fantastic piece for the money. It's that simplistic field watch that so many people look for. This really does bring you back to your roots, I think. I think that it definitely gives you that simplistic feel that a lot of people are after. Very legible piece that tells the time. What more are you going to ask of your watch? There we go, guys. A nice, simple field watch. I mean, there's not really much more you can say about it. It's a simple time-telling device that you can hack to align to the perfect timing to, time your assault, I guess, or your dinner, whichever your fancy. Now, if you wanted to pick one of these up, they're available on Redwood's website. You look in the description there, you can find that it's a watch. It tells the time. You don't need much more. Thanks for watching this one, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Leave me a comment on what you think of this piece. I'll see you in the next one.